Alrighty, guys. So welcome back. Last episode, what we did was this. We added some cool little details onto the terrain. We've added some alternating blocks, some alternate textures to the terrain. Fixed up our ore generation, and added the height limits for the ores to generate, and all that. So that's pretty much the terrain almost done. The very last thing we want to add is a couple bug fixes, and then also the biomes. So I'm still thinking about how to do the biomes, to be 100% honest with you guys, what the best method to do with that is, because I kind of want everything in each biome to be fully customizable. I want you to have different frequencies, different height multiplying, different surface values, dirt layer heights, etc. Generate caves, all that sort of stuff. I want you to be able to customize all of this. So I was kind of thinking the way we could do this, obviously chunk size, world size, that's the same. The things that are going to be in each biome is this. We also want the frequency of the terrain, cave frequency, to be customizable by the biome, and the tree chance and all that to be customized via biome. So the aim at this stage is to create a biome class with all those variables in it. The world generation script, our terrain generation script, is going to generate biomes, and each is going to generate the world depending on the biome. It's a bit confusing to explain, but as we're implementing it, you guys will get a better idea. To get started, let's just delete these comments. We don't need them. It's taking up useless lines. And one of the issues I want to fix is something someone pointed out in the comment section, was saying how they themselves implemented mushrooms, which is really sick. I love to hear that. But they were overlapping trees. So that's an issue. And the reason that's happening is because our place tile script is placing a tile no matter what. What it should do is it should place a tile if a tile doesn't already exist there. So this list contains the position of every tile in our world. So all we have to do is, before we place a tile, we just have to say, if that script contains that position of the tile we want to place, then don't place a tile. So let's delete that empty line. The way we're going to do that is right here, place tile. We're going to say if world tiles, I believe it's called, dot contains new vector 2. This should probably be int, new vector 2 int, yep, x and y, open bracket, and then close bracket at the very end. Cool. If we save that now, technically a terrain should generate the exact same way, theoretically. So let's just let this compile, and we'll see what goes down. Do I really have to cut this part out? Come on. Alrighty. Whoa. What is going on? Alright, let's generate it. And nothing happened. Nothing generated. If it not contained. So you want to add a exclamation mark right at the start, which is the not operator in C# for those who didn't know. So the way this works is this returns a boolean. If it contains it, true. If it doesn't contain it, then false. So to check if it's false, we just have to put the exclamation mark, in which case now our terrain generates perfectly. But that's also a very important feature for us to add, especially when we're going to be implementing building and stuff, because we don't want to be able to build a block, place a tile on top of a tile. Doesn't make much sense. So that's that done. I can delete this empty line. So now we're just cleaning up code. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Now biomes. So let's create a new header, and we'll call this biomes. Underneath here, we're gonna have a public texture 2D. We'll call this Biome Map. So what this Biome Map is gonna be is very similar to our caves, except essentially it's gonna be caves, but with bigger caves, where each cave is a different biome, if that makes sense. It's gonna be a map which different colors mean different biomes. Makes sense? Probably not, but you guys will get what I mean. The other things I want to do is a public. I want to create some colors. So, for example, green color green that we define in as a variable in the inspector is going to be painted as a green inside this texture, and what that means is, for example, grassland as a bio. A bit confusing, but this is just going to make the whole terrain a bit more customizable for me, because I understand that a lot of you guys are going to be using these for your own games or whatnot, or your own projects. So if you guys want the ability to make it yourselves, so let's call this public color grasslands, public color. Let's create desert. Is it two E's, two S's? I don't know. Public color, and then we'll say snow, and then what other biomes can we have? Public. We should probably start with not as many, but we'll just go forest for now as well. Cool. Now we're gonna do the same thing as we did with the caves and all that here. We're gonna say, you know what? We should probably chuck this into its own function as well. Let's do that. Okay, so public void draw textures takes in no parameters, and that's our function there. And then this is gonna take in these, so we'll cut that from there, paste it into there, right? Cool. Then we can cut this from here, and we're gonna say draw textures. Do that. Control C and Control V. Cool. And then before we do anything else, I want to draw the biome textures. So for the biome textures, I want to say public float biome frequency. Yes. Okay. And then how shall we do this? So basically, I want our biome map to contain the. If I multiply it, then that's not going to work. If I add it, that's also not going to work. Let's generate one biome, and then we'll go from there. Adding the others shouldn't be too hard, I want to say, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, so let's do that. We'll create a new function for this, I reckon. A public void. Let's call it draw biome texture. It won't take in any parameters for now, but I'm going to copy and paste the noise generation for the caves. Copy that, Control C, and paste that, because it's pretty much the exact same. A lot of these aren't defined, that's fine. This is going to be biome frequency. There, Control C, Control V. Seed is fine. Noise texture, this is going to be biome map dot width. Yes. If it's greater than 0.5, that's fine. This is going to be, we'll take in a color here, maybe. Yes, so we'll say color, and then we'll say biome color, and then we're going to put biome color here. Cool. And then the other ones, if it's not greater than 0.5, it's going to be black. That's perfect. So here I have to first say biome map equals new texture 2D, which is going to take in a width of world size and a height of world size. Cool. And then once I do that, I have to say draw, is it called biome texture? Yes. It's going to take it the color. We'll say grassland color. Alrighty. Now we go back into terrain. So the frequency for this should be quite small. Is biomes going to show up? Ooh, we have an error. Noise texture does not exist. Yes, this should be Biome Map. Apply. Let's give that another run. Now it's gonna pop up. Cool. Biome frequency, it'll do 0.001. Now grassland is not a color at the moment, so that's fine, that makes sense. Biome map, it's full green. That's because that is very small. We'll do 0.005, maybe even 0.003. Okay, so you can kind of see what's going on here. That's kind of what we want. But we don't want our biomes really changing like this. I kind of only want it changing on the x-axis. So rather than saying x plus seed, I'm going to try doing x plus seed here as well. And let's see what happens. If not, if that doesn't work, then... Okay. So that seems to be working a little bit better. What if I just do seed plus nothing? Is that going to matter too much? Which one looks better? Let's see. I guess it's the same thing, actually. Well, the x, no, this should be, yes, this should be c times biome frequency, yes. Okay. Cool, now let's define all our colors as well. So that's fine there, yep. Desert should be obviously orange, we'll do snow. Yes, we'll do a white. And then forest, we'll do a bit of a darker green, maybe. Like that. Cool. Now we just have to layer these on top of this biome map. So you know what? I might increase the frequency a little bit to about 0.5. Not enough. 0.8. Okay, that's fine. And now I want to say draw biome texture desert. So what should happen is that this should actually turn into orange version of the exact same texture. Yes, called it. Perfect. So that's not actually working because our frequencies and the seed is the same, which means we're getting the exact same texture, which means it's just overwriting it. We don't want it to overwrite it. We want a certain offset so that it sort of like seamlessly fits into each other. Right? So what this should be, this should return a texture, this function. It will create a texture, return it, and then we just want to do some math and add those textures together as sort of like filtering each other, right? So let's do that. Let's say public texture 2D, draw biome texture with this color, and then we'll take in a float seed. The frequency is going to be the same. And then we're going to say here texture 2D temp texture equals new texture 2D world size by world size. Cool. And then we're going to say temp texture dot set pixel, and then dot apply. And then I'm going to say return temp texture. All right, so when we call this function now, it's going to want us to do something. So what I have to do is actually say biome map plus equals. Is that going to work? No, of course it wouldn't work. If I say equals, that will not work as well because it's asking for a seed. So we'll say seed for this one. And then I'll say biome map equals desert. And we'll say seed times 2. So that way it's still dependent on the seed, but it's just slightly different coordinate, which is perfect. So now that's going to generate differently. Yep. What we could actually do as well, we'll turn the maybe colors into a gradient, which is from 0 to 1. And then okay. You know what? Let's do it that way. That's a much better way of doing it. And you guys will learn a bit more. Okay, we'll do it that way. All right. It's going to be a bit annoying, but let's change these to a public gradient biome map. We'll call this biome colors then. I'm writing in American as well for you guys, but that's just me now. We'll do this. We'll say draw biome texture. call the function. We don't need to take a seed anymore. That's fine. We don't actually need to take a biome color anymore either. And we don't need to return anything, I don't believe. Yes, we don't. Okay, perfect. Because we're going to actually calculate all this using math. Which means we have to do... Okay, so this will be a color we have to calculate. So let's do this. Because inside here, we're going to do some calculations. And then that's fine, that's fine. Why is this saying not all? Right, this should be void. And then this should be Biome Map. And this should also be Biome Map. Okay, so that's something we have to fix. We don't have to include that anymore either. So this is the new method we're going to do it. Like I said, I wasn't 100% sure, but you know what? Thinking about it, this is a better method. If I go here, we'll see the inspector change. Theoretically, but it won't because we have an error. Let me comment that line out for now. And now you will see this change. Okay, cool. So this is a gradient where location is a decimal number between 0 and 100, or in other words, 0 to 1, because that's how gradients will calculate their time. So time is its location in the coding world, right? Oh, let's bring that back. And then this is the just the alpha. So we don't actually need these, but we'll keep them there. And then there's different. So if I change this color, you can see that change via a gradient. If I can also do it fixed, so it's like this. We're going to use fixed, but what we're going to do basically is the noise texture generates between 0 and 1, right? So if I say copy this, get rid of this, cool. This is going to say new color, and then it's going to take in V, V, and V. Cool. Making sense so far? And then now if I go into Unity, you'll see we get a we should get nothing's happening. Okay. Draw biome texture, draw biome texture. Right, we have to say biome map dot apply. Now let's go into Unity. We should get some bars as a gradient. There we go. So you see the different colors there. That's perfect. This should be 0.08, I think it was. Right, so basically we're going to say these are pixels with a value of 0 to 1. And then this is a gradient with the value of 0 to 1. So we're going to say if the number in the texture is between 0 and say 0.5, then it's going to generate green. If it's greater than that, it's going to generate make that pixel white. Bit confusing, but let's do it, and then you'll get what I mean a little bit better. So I'm going to say if, in fact, I can just say color. Let's say col equals what's our biome colors dot time. Ooh, what was that? Gradient dot evaluate. That's the one. Gradient dot. That's not a thing. Biome colors dot evaluate. There we go. And then we have to pass in a float time, which our float time is v. And then this is going to be col. Right? Time the 0 to 1. So we pass in the value of 0 to 1, which is our v from the Perlin Noise. So now if I run this again, you guys will see that, there you go. What this means is now, for example, let's say, we'll delete that, that's fine. We're going to say if it is, so 1 we're going to say is super hot, and this is super cold, for example. Right, so super hot should be a desert. And then we'll say this is going to be snow. So that's white, that's fine. And then we'll say this is gonna be forest, and then we'll say this is gonna be grassland, right? And now in our texture, you can see this. All right, so it's kind of coming together now a bit. If I make this blended, in fact, we might get a cooler result, but yeah, so we get a bit of a nicer result, but I don't know. That might be a bit, that's not gonna, yeah, all right, we'll do fixed. Otherwise, it's not gonna work very nicely in the code. So we'll do that. And I'm gonna decrease this frequency a little bit to maybe 0.1. Yes, we'll do that. Okay, that gives us slightly bigger bias. Okay, all right, sorry for the awkward cut, guys. But we're back. So where did we leave off real quick? Float v equals this is this. Yes. What are we generating real quick? Let me see. Let's change our C just so we can get some deserts in there. Is that gonna even? Okay, it is updating. Yes, we can see it's sort of like moving on. That's good. Snow biome, that's cool. Are we getting any deserts? I want to see a desert biome. If I make this, oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's do seed 0. I want to see a desert biome only because desert's going to be easiest to implement now. Either that or snow. All right, we'll increase the frequency maybe then. 0.5. There we go, and we get some desert now. All right, we'll stick with that for now. Okay. The other thing is as well, look, we can make this y plus c times that. That's going to give us a bit more like 3-dimensional, or like, I guess 2-dimensional biomes, because at the moment it's just on the x-axis. But if we do it this way, we can kind of have like, for example, caves being different biomes. Might be quite interesting. The other thing we should really do is divide this properly. This should be 25. This should be 50. This should be 75, and that should be 100, just to give us some more evenness in here. Because the other thing is, well, you got to remember that the orange and the white, the snow and desert biomes, they're more outliers in the data set that Perlin Noise generates. As you can see here, we're getting more green, which is good. And this is really easy to customize. Say we want less snow and more grassland or something. We can just do this. And that way here, as you can see, it automatically updates it like that. Right, so far so good. But now I'm just going to keep it like that. That's fine there. And this is going to be 25. Cool. Now we just have to, not there. Here we go. Wait. Tile classes. We have to create a few more tile classes for our tiles, obviously. So we need to have sand. So let's say sand. This is going to be called sand. And this is going to have the texture. Do we have a sand texture actually? Sun, no. Cotton, tan. All right, dirt sand, that's the one we have. Is there no other ones? Sand. Yes. Leave that. Okay, yeah. We'll use that. That's all good. Okay. And then we should also create one for snow. Cool. We'll call it snow. And we'll find snow texture. Snow is that. Then we have that. And then stone snow. That's quite interesting as well, you know. Let's maybe use this one. We can also add, in fact, the other textures as alternate textures. But I think it's going to look a bit blocky. But look, test it at your own will. Feel free. Okay, so we've done that. Now we actually have to start making our biome class script. This is unfortunately the hard part. So I'm going to call this biome class. Cool. That's going to not load up automatically. And what I might do, judging by the time we've been recording, I might set the script up And then in the next episode, which I'll record straight after this one, I might implement the script so that we're actually generating something. But yep, so I delete those, don't need that, that's useless. And now we can chuck in our variables that we need. So the variables we need is seed is fine. Cave noise, terrain frequency and cave frequency. We need those, so let's copy paste that. This is going to give us issues in the other one because since these are public, and that's public, might be a clash, but I'm not sure. We'll see. Height addition we need, height multiplier we need. Actually, height addition we can't have, otherwise we're going to have pretty different heights on our. So you're going to have a cliff essentially at the edge of a terrain, which might be an issue, of course. So we'll do that, that's fine. But we need generate caves, dirt layer height will have, yes. Surface value we'll have, and then height multiplier we will also have. Chunk size, world size will stay the same, yes. So copy that, paste that there. Then we need the trees and add-ons stuff. So we're going to copy that and paste that there. Apart from that, all settings, you know what? With this, so if we transfer this there, then we can have it so certain ores generate in certain biomes. And you could, if you wanted, theoretically, create some more ore classes. So you can customize this. So this will come up in the class, and you would be able to customize this so that, for example, coal generates more often in desert biomes or something, if you wanted to. So I'm going to copy that over as well. And I'm going to copy the headings because I didn't actually do that. So noise settings goes over here. And then, oh, no, that goes over there. And then generation settings goes over here. There we go. So moving on, let's also mark this as system.serializable. Cool. And then under terrain generation, I'll real quick say public biome class. Let's just call this, I don't know, grass biome for now. And let's see what happens. So now underneath grass biome, we get all these settings. There we go. Okay, so now this is when the fun stuff is going to start to happen. So we're going to need a grass biome, snow biome, and desert biome. So copy that, paste that, paste that, and paste that. So let's say forest, snow, and then also desert. Cool. And then in our tile atlas, we also need to add. So I'm going to create a header here for ores, and then I'm going to create a header here for environment. Cool. And then public tile class snow, public tile class sand. Right. So now let's edit our tile atlas. We'll pin it. So now we've got nice headings here to break it up. Tile classes, we're going to add sand. That's the wrong one. So snow goes there, sand goes there. Right. Pretty straightforward there. In our terrain, now we're going to have desert biome here, which we can edit all the things for. Snow biome, which we can edit all the things for. It's also not spelt properly. Let me go fix that real quick. Boom. Okay. So what we have to do is now say we have to find a way to implement this so that, for example, if it's between this range, you use the generation settings for the snow biome. If it's within this range, you use the generation settings for the forest biome. You get what I'm saying? But how can we do this in a nice sort of way? The other thing we should really do is probably we're going to have to move these values that we have for our ores over to each of these, which is going to be super annoying. And I'm not going to do it just yet because that's not fun. So let's do this. I want tile atlas to be first. Okay. Trees. Did I transfer that over to biome class as well? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. Cool. So we're going to get a bunch of errors as soon as we delete all these variables because that's what we have to do. We're going to have to get rid of them. Seed, actually, did I copy that over? Because I don't want to copy that over. I didn't. Good. Okay. Seed is going to be because obviously we want our terrain to generate the exact same way if our seed is the same. So that's super important. Generation settings, that's fine. Cool. And then that's also fine. That's fine. All settings is fine. Okay. So seed is fine. Okay, alrighty. Yes. Alrighty. That's an issue. We're gonna have to do a lot of coding for this, guys. So we have to make it so obviously these values, these textures and stuff, just like we have here, they update automatically because that's what we want. Of course. So maybe we should put this into a little bit of an array. Yeah, cool. But let's do this as well. Let's say public color. Public. Because I want you to be able to set a setting so that it automatically syncs. So for example, a position so that you can say if it's between this one and that one. You can do this. I might use colors like we did before. That might be a nice way. All right, we'll do colors. Public color, biome color. So for green, it's going to be this. So for grassland, it's going to be the same exact green as we have here. So to copy that, you're going to click this, and you'll copy the hexadecimal code. Control C, close that, and then for grass biome, you want to set the code color hexadecimal code there. So paste it. It's quite simple, but don't mess that up. And then back in our code, we're gonna leave that as is. Here it was. That's right. Yes. So biome class array is gonna be called biomes. Cool. So now biomes, we're going to set to 1. Element 0, this is going to be these. Yep, same here. Control paste there. That's fine. Let's give these a name. So we'll say public string biome name. So that comes up here. And that here I can say grasslands, and you can see element 0 change there. Cool. And now I do that so we can loop through the whole array for each biome, and just on validate we can set that up. So when we draw textures, at the moment we're saying ors this dot draw textures and whatnot. That's fine. What I should be doing is say for int I equals 0, I less than biomes dot length I plus plus, and then close that bracket, open curly bracket, and close that bracket. And now we want to say draw biome texture. That's fine. Biome map because this. That's fine. But this should be biomes I dot biome map. Do we have a biome map there? No. This should be outside the loop. Cool. And then cave noise texture is gonna be, now this is gonna be biomes I dot cave noise texture. Yes. And then this is going to be biomes I.ors 0. Yep, and yep. And in fact, we could probably put this into its own loop as well, which might be a smart idea. That way, it only repeats it for the length. So I'll say for int o equals 0, o for ors, o less than biomes I.ors.length, o plus plus, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, and do that. And then we can delete these, and I'm going to say biomes o instead of 0. Right? And then, that's fine. We're going to do the exact same thing. Copy that one there, paste it here. Delete these ones. Delete that line. This line is going there. Cool. And then here, this is going to say ors o, and ors o. But before this, we should say biomes I.ors o. So copy that. So then again, biomes I, and then dot size, and then biomes I.ors o dot spread texture. Okay. It's a bit mad, I will say. Okay, so now you can see that our ors and stuff are gonna be like that. Okay, so yep, it's all working. Cool. Now if I increase the rarity, max spawn height is fine, but like that update's fine there. Cave frequency, terrain frequency, yep. Surface layer, is that gonna change? Dirt layer height. Is this updating? Doesn't seem to be updating. Draw biome texture, generate, draw textures. Create chunks, draw biome texture, yes. Right, okay, so this is generate noise texture, that's fine. This should be biomes I.cave frequency, biomes I.surface value, and then biomes I.cave noise texture. Now this should update. Yes, okay. Which means now each of our biomes have its own variables which it uses. So that's perfect. Now you can add as many different ores you want in each biome. You can customize its own generation settings for each biome, which means these are actually all going to be redundant. We're going to get rid of these, and we're just going to be using this as our main inspector. But we can't do that until we make it so that our generate terrain, rather than using the what's it called, terrain frequency and all that, the dirt layer height here, we need it to use the terrain frequency of the biome it is currently looking in. Make sense? Probably not. But that's in the next episode, so you don't have to worry about that for now. Right, this part of the code that we've done now, this is pretty much the most important bit, because the next bit is really simple. It's going to be a simple math equation algorithm, and then we're just going to change some of these values to use the current biome it's in. So stay tuned for the next episode. Shouldn't be too long until that one's recorded. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. But that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Yo, this is the Discord, by the way. Join it if you haven't already. Trying to build a small community here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask stuff here. Suggestions for the server, etc., for the channel, all that. You'll get updated with new videos and stuff here. Bunch of announcements you can keep track of, and you can get cool colors and stuff for your name. Join it.